Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark are all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them.
Are you certain? His voice echoed through the room, cold and unmoving. His two eyes remained fixed on the man in front of him, who had been chosen to bring this news to him. The hand had taken the office after his uncle had passed. Not passed, but murdered by the foul lord of Heartsholme known as Danis Corbury. Now there were rumours that something had befallen his cousin, the true lord of the Eyrie. The lord of Heartsholme could call himself whatever he desired. He was but a usurper. It is, my lord. Lord Danis had it proclaimed himself, and the man was executed through the moon door. It was one of the Steelhearts, a minor but loyal house. They remained one of the few houses that hadn't fallen to the Corbury lord. So it was true then. The line of Benfrey Highstar had ended. One of the greatest men to ever have served Andalia had been killed like some common man. A man, though a bastard, who had been true and more of a father to him than his true father. This would not stand. Speak to none about this meeting, if you vow your head or your safety from Lord Corbury. A ship awaits you to bring you back to your home. You will depart now. His voice never broke, his blue eyes staring down at the man. Though not very advanced in his age, Aengar Sevenstar made a large impression. Some men at court had said that it was similar to that of the first king. Lickspittle's the lot of them, who merely wished to gain his favour. He didn't share the king's extreme zeal. Man had been long dead. All that remained were maesters' records and tales. Whatever influence they wished to gain, it was wasted on him. The man understood and easily. Good, they should know their place. Without a second moment, the Steelheart left the room. This was what the inaction of the council had led them towards. His cousin had called for aid. He had needed it. They could have forever crushed the Corbury and made sure that he would remain in his place. Instead, the Lord Corbury had proven just as skilled, even more so than anticipated. They had proven just as craven and as lickspittle as the last. Was this really what the men of Andalia had come to? A bunch of fools and cravens? His brother had finally returned from his travels. That Corbury lord had finally used it as an opportunity. It would have been better if his brother had stayed, but a king's will was that of a king. But was he not the hand? He was the man who the kingdom should turn to when they would face threats such as Lord Corbury. The council needed a change. The last few loyal lords were dying, such as Lord Vardis. Though Danis had had the death of his own allies, such as Lord John Seymour, though he was never much of a threat. The marriage of the Seymour heir should hopefully secure the loyalty of Willowood and the house, but other alliances had not proved as well, such as the Royces, a princess to them, and yet they still stood with the Craven. There had been, however, two things that seemed to occupy the royal court. For one, the death of his brother's lover. He had advised against it from the start. Taking a peasant girl into his bed was foolish as it was dishonourable, though he felt sorry for his brother. Her death was for the better of the realm. The second was the birth of an heir to his brother, a boy named after his murdered uncle. Though he had his doubts about the boy's actual parentage, that remained to be seen if it would prove true. It was truly lucky that she had fallen pregnant just as the king had left for his voyage, but the queen would be questioned. Enough was enough. They had idled and delayed too much. It was time to show the valour of the Sevenstars as to why they were kings. Although the raven flies ever higher, it will never reach the stars. Standing from his chair, his feet carried him through the halls of the Sevenstars' keep and home. Arriving in front of the king's chamber, he beckoned the guards to open the doors. They would talk, for it was time. It was time to show them the king. It was time for justice. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Grand Northern Kingdom of Andalia, where King Lister is still upon his foreign tour. I believe he's on the way to Norvos now, in the east. But while he has been away, while the cat's away, as they say, the mouse has come out to play, and Lord Corbury, who is now the Lord of the Eyrie and the Giant's Lands. And look at that huge amount of land that he now possesses, with claims upon the Belmore lands and the Redfort lands, and an alliance with the Royces and Templetons and the Seymours. So he has an insane amount of power, and we still can't do much about him, unfortunately, without upsetting people and stuff like that. He is no longer in the factions, but there is still the Maynard Greystock faction for the Erinstars, as well as a Royce faction to try and overthrow the monarchy of the Vale, which has got a lot of Valemen actually in it as well, which is worrying. But crowned loyalists, we still have Lord Offen the Inbred of Oldcastle and Lord Benfrey the Bear Lancer. So let's just delve straight into this episode then. Let's unpause and let's see what Andalia has in store for us today. Hopefully it won't be too long before Lister's back. There's a lot happened while he's been away. His uncle's died, and his uncle and Hand of the King has died. At the age of 35, your bannerman Lady Rhonda of Harlaw Hall died. Lady Pisswater, oh, not Lady Pisswater. And Felsay Seagreen has arrived at our court after she's getting married to Guy near Harlaw. And Melora Harlaw is getting married to Lord Danis River. So 2 decent marriages there, bringing the Iron Islands into the fold a little bit more, as they are actually pretty loyal now. More loyal than the Vale Lords, which I never ever thought I would hear myself say. Very strange that we actually have the Iron Islands on our side. Pirates is the shout you hear all around the deck as a vessel bearing the flag of pirates is spotted on the horizon, sailing towards your ship. It approaches and crashes into the side of your ship as its crew of pirates jump on board. You must prepare to fight. Defend ourselves. You managed to repel the attacking pirates with great ease. They did not expect you to be so well defended and must have fought you some easy petty trade ship. They learned their lesson the hard way, and we gain a load of prestige from that, which is awesome. There's not a lot that we can do with the prestige and such that we've got at present, unfortunately. Lord Yorick of Mistlewood has inherited Lordship of Mistlewood from Lord Belgrave Pegleg. Also, Lord Pegleg has finally died at the age of 55, lost his leg, of course, in the War of the Stars when Enger the Evil hacked it away. But his son is now inherited. Let's have a look at him then. Lord Yorick of Mistlewood, who has cancer. So he's not going to hang around for much longer, but he does have 2 sons. We've got Bradamar Rook, so this is going to be the future Lord of Mistlewood, it would seem. He died with a disagreement with Emil as well, the Pegleg Lord did, which is, well, it's something different at least, isn't it? At least it's not gonorrhea or the shits, which is normally the case for many people in Andalia. And someone else has died. Wagmer Longthorpe has had the Annals of the Black Centaur added to their treasury, the Lord of Longsister, and Lord Jamie of Oldstones has died. So who has succeeded him as the Lord of Oldstones? His daughter, Lady Amara of Oldstones, and her heir is Alyssa Mudd, who is our cousin, which is interesting. But she has Highstar daughters. Okay, so that's interesting. There are a couple of Highstar daughters around, so who knows what's going to happen with Oldstones. After many days at sea on your ship, you have finally arrived at Norvos. You are very excited and cannot wait to explore these new lands and the Norvoshi culture. High Priestess Naquaro, the Steel Order, shall be informed of your arrival. I'm guessing we're going to see the bells and such, aren't we, while we're here? Whoa, and what the hell is going on here? Okay, loads of stuff has just popped up, so let's see what is going to happen. Lord Waymore of Longsister has declared war against the tyranny of Lady Ricer of the Sisters on Lady Ricer of the Sisters. Okay. Whilst I was walking down one of the streets of Norvos, I took a wrong turn and stumbled into a local brothel. The numerous Norvoshi beauties that reside here do look quite enticing. When I am here now, I may as well have my fun. 25% chance to get lustful, or I will not lower myself to that level, and we'll get the piety. My bannerman, Lady Riessa Snowfall, has tried to have Lord Waymore Longthorpe of Longsister arrested, but failed to apprehend him. Lord Waymore has now raised his banners in rebellion. Well, that's going to be a pretty close fight, actually, which is interesting. Lord Hugo of the Mother's Embrace has ransomed Sir Hilario from the clutches of Lord Danis the Wise. Norvos. The cart rocks as it leaves the smooth black stone and enters Norvos. Bugger me with a spear, the cartman shouts as the wheels dig into the muddy path and stick. You hop off and continue on into the city, leaving him to curse at every god of the east. As you walk through the lower city, copying images and details into your notes, 3 bells begin to toll. You stand, drawn in by their melody, soon realising that they each have their own distinct tone. As you listen to their ring, you start to hear them speak. When they finally stop their chat, you feel lessened, empty, and so race for the upper city to find them. As you reach the stairs, a guard checks you firmly, nearly sending you to the ground. Fascinating. And we're departing for the next destination, which I'm going to be interested to see. Maybe Cohor, I'm not sure. Hallis Blackmire has had songs of the drowned men, drowned men sing added to their treasury. Keep getting tongue-tied today. It's time for you to leave your current location and move on to your next destination. Time is short and there is so much to see, and we're onwards to Sarnath. Okay, interesting. I wonder what we'll see there. We've still got those factions. Yes, we have. At the age of 21, your lover, Eglante, died of poor health. Now, that is a shame. So he's going to be heartbroken about that, isn't he? So he's lost his mistress, which is a huge shame. High King Lister, after this, to the advice of a group of my bannermen, led by Lord Forest Stately of Vaith, I hereby release the High Lordship of Vaith and other realms from their obligations to my person, thereby granting them independence. Okay, that makes Dawn interesting then, doesn't it? Dawn has now took a massive split. And fate smiles upon me. My wife Alyssa is pregnant. How? She's not travelling with us. She's in Sevensport. Excellent, but it's not excellent, is it? Surely we can't be the father. Time passes, yet to me the world seems unreal. It is a life without Eglantine. Eglantine is but a momma's farce. I am lost in this sea of loneliness and know not where to turn. Drown yourself in wine, women, and song. Lose yourself in books, songs, and the wisdom of others. Seek solace in the arms of another. Who is that? Lady Jasara Shycross. Or this is nonsense. I will move on with my life. Which we have an 8% chance of gaining celibate, which is interesting. Drown yourself in wine, women, and song. There's a 40% chance we get drunkard. Or we could get lustful. What about lose yourself in songs? We could gain craven, patient, or content. Seek solace in the arms of another. Or this nonsense, I will move on with my life. We could become depressed. We could lose kind. We'll go with the second one. The world is such a scary place. I've gained the craven trait. Oh dear. I've lost the joy of life. I've gained the depressed trait. Oh dear. So things are not going well for High King Lister. And I'm very worried about this pregnancy. That can't be our child. It can't be our child. We're not there. She's at court and we're not. Does she have a lover? If we look at her relations. No, she doesn't have a lover. Only a rival, who's Barbary Bolton, and she has a friend as well. After many days at sea on your ship, you have finally arrived at Sarnath. You are very excited and cannot wait to explore these new lands and the tall man culture. Perfect. And so Sir Benedict has died of cancer, and whoever he is. House Dane has ruled in the Kingdom of the Torrentine for many generations, and in this time the bloodline has become highly respected. House Dane is now considered a traditional great house of the region. Awesome. You are quietly having a drink in a local tavern. Some of the other men there make repeated japes about how you look and the clothes you wear. Clearly in their drunken stupor, they do not understand you are a foreigner in their lands, as opposed to being someone they believe to be slightly deformed. As the japes get more and more vulgar, they start to threaten you. To get out of their tavern before they beat you to a pulp. A fight, is it? Yeah, let's go for a fight. You engage in a quick fight with the three men and manage to rapidly beat them to the ground after a brief struggle. As you sit back down, you notice a gash that was inflicted by you on one of them. Guess they weren't as weak as you thought. And now I can finish my drink. Okay. Sarnath. The caravan enters the city of Sarnath and onto its grand plaza. A large pond sits at the market's centre, its crystal blue water sparkling in the sunlight. You reach for your notes only to catch a glint of sunlight in the distance. Rising above the market square is an exquisite palace. You make your way towards it, pulling paper and charcoal from your pack. As you grow near, you find a giant structure with hundreds of stacked arches. Its walls are gold and the ground surrounded by statues of men and women. The walls you can see are covered in depictions of innumerable animals, formed in metals and gems. You sit yourself in the green park surrounding the structure and sketch out the likeness of the palace and carvings. What a pleasure to meet the tall men. I wonder where we'll go next. Lyanna Stark attempted to imprison Barbary Kerwin, and she's managed to achieve that. Doesn't really concern us, though. And onwards to Carth. Interesting. Carth will be pretty cool to see. See what we get to see out there. Hopefully we can maybe strike some more trade deals or stuff. Oh, and we've now got Lady Tiara for the Trident. Don't even know who she is. And Lower Crown Authority in Andalia. I could scarcely believe it, but the pregnancy has made my wife Alyssa look more beautiful than she ever was. Whenever we are in the same room, I can hardly take my eyes off her. Better make a move quickly. She is with child. I should not look at her in this way. Yeah, we'll go with that one, because they don't like each other anyway. And Desmond Utcliffe is called in a favour on Orwin Hunter, and Hofer Snowfall is called in a favour on Pala Richards. My bannerman, Lord Danis Corbury, has tried to have Lord Marwyn Corbury of Heartsholme arrested but failed to apprehend him. Lord Marwyn has now raised his banners in rebellion. Okay, interesting. He's fighting his own son, which is very interesting. So, no idea what's going to happen there. That's very interesting indeed. Why the hell is he trying to imprison his own son? I thought they was pretty close to each other. Anyway, I think we will now go for our mid POV. The royal litter carrying Lister passed through the streets of the great city of Norvos in the sweltering heat of early morning. The streets were bustling with many bodies going about their lives, some booming at the top of their lungs to promote their businesses, others singing in tongues that he couldn't understand, and the priests with their oddly coloured hair making their way to prayers. Lister had heard tales of this land from the Essosi merchants that would occasionally come to his court, but to see this land with his own eyes was truly breathtaking. The one thing that did give him pause in returning in the near future was his host. High Priest Nakenquo was a very mercurial man. He could be discussing theology and the nature of a man with you, calm and still as a pond at one moment before brutally breaking the hand of a servant for not being quick enough at another. The High Priest had even offered up his own wife to the king as a form of good faith, saying he wouldn't mind having a royal stepchild growing in his young consort's belly. While Lister had felt heavily tempted, the woman was quite beautiful. His own self-preservation and collected senses won out. Fortunately, his host was currently occupied with another affair, leaving Lister time to himself, which he decided to use in the best way possible, to see the legendary bells of Norvos. "Your Grace, we have arrived." Lister turned to face the attendant at the door of his litter. "I see, thank you." The slave gave a curt nod and stepped aside to let Lister pass. The young king felt his heart skip a beat as he laid eyes on the home of one of the world's greatest treasures. He passed through the entrance just as the first of the 3 bells began to peal out its song. As the melody of the metal beast rang out to signal the call to prayer, Lister simply allowed himself to close his eyes and let the melody wash over him as the voices of the Norvos let their song continue through the hot summer morning. Calf. Red waste indeed. Darmable sand too coarse and rough. It's irritating. You shout at your guide, she just stares ahead and continues onward. She leads you a fair distance more, then you come to the fabled walls of Calf, divided into 3 tiers. The nearest and shortest is red, the second, peaking a bit above the first, is grey. The rear, taller than the rest, is deep black. As you pass the copper gate, you see numerous depictions of strange beasts, as well as the wolves that plague your journey. As you approach the iron gate of the middle wall, you see scenes of battle and death. Lastly, the inner wall is covered in scenes of love and sex. As you enter the gold gate, you inscribe them in your notes. This place scares me. On to our next destination. Hopefully we'll be coming home soon. I wonder if we'll go to Ashai. That is a long way away though, isn't it? No wonder we've been gone for such a long time. And now we have arrived in Old Gis, which is interesting. So we must have sailed past that to get to Calf. So I don't know why we've sailed back, unless we're now on our way home. Old Gis, your ship meets the docks of the Giscari mainland. Are you sure this is the site? You ask the captain, who nods at you and points off into the distance. With a sigh, you make your way inland. After a time, you come to a field littered with great many red marble and sandstone blocks. You approach the nearest sandstone and stretch out your arms wide against it, finding it wider by half. You make a rough estimate of the number and size of blocks, copying the information into your scroll. Then your mind wanders back and you picture the ancient pyramid. It's 33 levels of yellow stone climbing over 800 feet into the sky. As you come back, you look around at the vast barren plain surrounding you. This place scares me. That's because you're a craven now, Lister, apparently. And I'm still very worried about that child that's apparently coming. I don't see how it can be Lister's. I really don't. It is time for you to leave your current location and return home. As much as you would like to keep up the tour, you have responsibilities back home you must attend to. I've started to miss home. Finally, Lister is returning home. It's quite a way away though, so it's probably going to be some time before he arrives home. Arwen Lance has arrived at our court. Isn't that the bride of our... Oh! Owen has now got his adult picture. Awesome. 16 years old. Wow! 26 diplomacy. A Graham Essence. Perfect. So... his education went very, 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 very well, it would seem. He is incredible. Is he better than our current Master of Laws? Both level. We could bring our brother into our council then. That might be a good idea once Lister returns. It's a good tradition to have gossips around a pregnant woman in order to keep her calm and distracted from the tribulations of this delicate time in her life. As a Lister's husband, it is my duty to provide her with the support she needs. I have some maids dispatched. Yes, we'll have some maids dispatched. We'll do the right thing. It's definitely what Lister would do. Interested to see how this one. We're interested to see what Danis is going to do with his son. Surely he wouldn't murder his own son or anything like that, but I wouldn't put anything past Danis Corbury at this point. The guy absolutely terrifies me, if I'm perfectly honest. He's a very, very dangerous man. And at the age of 29, your acquaintance Lyman Mandley died under suspicious circumstances. It is time for you to leave your current location and return home. As much as you would like to keep all your tour, you have responsibilities back home. I thought we were already on the way home. My god, so that's going to take us even longer now to get home. Betha Burn, whoa, Lord Yorick of Coldwater Burn used a favour on Lord Ryger of Snakewood, and Betha Burn has called in a favour on Edmund. Okay. And today my brother Prince Owen asked me for a fief of his own to govern. Specifically, he would like the Kingdom of the Trident. Very well, I promised to arrange it. I mentioned the Wall. No, Zachary Mudd should rightfully rule the Trident. No. I mentioned the Wall. I'm not giving that kingdom to you. My brother Prince Owen did not like my decision to withhold a title from him and to spread word throughout the realm that I am hoarding titles and should rightfully be described to the that should be rightfully distributed to Sevenstar kinsmen. What do I care? And we gain the trait Tyrant. Well, no, we are going to give out some titles once Lister returns home and we can finally start restoring order to the realm. Well, trying to restore order to the realm. We are still depressed, which is a shame. Some randomers died and another randomers joined a faction. That's fine. And after visiting many exotic places and meeting many interesting people, you have finally returned home as your tour comes to an end. What an amazing journey. We lose the trait Honour, and we also lose the trait Depressed as well, which is perfect. So we're now home. I woke up this morning with a big smile on my face. I am no longer depressed. Excellent. But we are now home. Right, so it's time to start getting things in order. We're going to appoint a new Master of Law. Then again, Owen actually absolutely hates this, so I don't know if I want to do that anymore. Actually, I may keep Tion Erenstar to do that for now. Can we send you a gift and improve relations that way? We can try. Do we have any titles that we could give to Owen? We could give him Owen's hold once we inherit that off our father. One thing I am going to do is our friends. Where are you? Which one are you? You're this one, aren't you? Lionel Redguard. Has he had any children or anything yet? No, he hasn't. But we're going to grant you the landed title, the Lordship of the Crossfort. There we go. Perfect. The Redguards are now landed again. And I'm going to grant you the High Lordship as well. Let's grant you the landed title, High Lordship of the Crone's Crossing. Which we can't do because it's going against the will of the Council and will be viewed as an act of tyranny. Which is annoying. So who's voting against that? 2 voters were for and 8 were against. Who was for? Our brother Engar and Sir Ermin. So Maester Damon went against us, it would seem. We do have some open council positions as well that we need to sort out. Let's have a look what they are. I'm guessing it's just advisors, or we need a priest. Septon Roos, and there isn't another space, so I don't know what that one's on about. Can we get you to just perform charity in Sevensport, please? Any minor titles that need filling? I don't think there was, no. So there's other things that we now need to bring order to. Let's see if we can end some of these factions. House Mutant 1 Independence. We've still got the same crown loyalist, which is fine. Let's see if we can we finally imprison Danis? No, the council will not allow it, which is very, very annoying. Very annoying that we can't do anything about that. Our manpower has dropped significantly as well, which is also not good in the slightest. Can we abolish council control? You cannot change law during a regency, but we're home. Okay, let's just wait a second. The regency for High King Lister Sevenstar, and there we go, has now ended. Now we should be able to do what we want without upsetting the council. Right. Grant landed title. The High Lordship of the Crone's Crossing, including the lower titles. Send. There we go. We now have High Lord Lionel Redguard of the Crossing. Perfect. Got some good bannermen going with him. And then we should be able to do some of the other things that we wanted to do. Right, Law Council. I'm going to abolish the ruler has full authority over politics and laws. Would Lister do this? I don't know if Lister would do that. Maybe if Engar was to become king, then yes. Our wife is now in hiding in the final months of pregnancy. Some of your kin are unhappy that you granted the lordship of Crossfort to Lionel Redguard, expecting to be granted the titles themselves. Hilario Snow, what a surprise, and Prince Owen. Well, it's tough, Owen. It's tough. You're not getting any titles. We've got an idle council member. Who is idle? Aha, our Hand of the King. Can we get you to improve the holdings in Sevensport for now? Why not? And we need a designated regent. Let's have a look. I think we will go for our brother Enger for that. My liege work is complete after years of hard work. Your holding has been greatly improved. Its defences will now be impregnable, and scores of loyal men stand ready to die for you. Excellent. Actually, do you know what? Our Hand of the King is Enger, and for our regent, I might go for Harry Firehand. I quite trust Harry Firehand. Very loyal. He did knight us. We owe him a lot. We've got to go for Lionel Redguard, though, who is our friend. No, I'm going to go for Harry Firehand as regent. Why not? Why not? Let's reward that loyalty. And we also need 2 new wards now. So we need to find some younger people from around the realm who are of an age where they'd make decent wards. So let's have a look. Obviously, the Redguards haven't got anyone. A lot of the places haven't got anyone, to be honest. How old is your son now, Lord Harriet? Oh, you've had a second son. Benjen Firehand, who's only 0 years old, and Winter Firehand is 4, so he's too young still. What about Benfrey Lancer? He had his son Robar is not old enough. Riswell, do you have a son? No, you've had 2 stillborn sons. It's got to be someone. Lord Greyjoy only has daughters. John the Unready, the idiot. What about Sir Enger, his son? Does he have a son? He's got Sir Pyron, who's our friend. Harris Seymour. So how's Pyron getting on with his wife? Oh, they've had a son, Enger Seymour. Awesome, another Enger Seymour. There isn't really anyone around then that we could possibly ward, to be honest. There's literally nobody at all. Blooms. Allard Bloom's only 0 years old. Oh, wow. Quick and attractive, though, which is good. There's no Rose Hearts about, and there's very few Giossos about as well. We've literally got nobody that we can ward at present. What about Morgoth's? Will Morgoth is only 3 years old. He's not old enough. Lady Bolton, do you have a son? Yes. Theon Bolton. Very nice. Great name. Yeah, there's literally nobody that we could possibly ward. A Silver Eye. He's 8 years old. He's already a squire. We could take him on ourselves. Ward a Silver Eye. Why not? Let's assign. What's he good in? He's got for the Marshal, though. I'll sort out some wards off screen, and I couldn't really find anyone there that would make sense. Right, how are we going to try and start getting things in order? We need to do something about Danis Corbury. We have a new heir. If your character dies now, you will play as Farlan Sevenstar, who has been born with a stutter, and on Northman, there's nothing else about him. Okay. We need a name for him. I know just the name to honour our late uncle, Benfrey. Prince Benfrey, High King Lister of Andalia, fulfilled the ambition to have a son. Right, Lord Benjicott Rizzo has been a leal and able servant, having successfully completed many tasks. Yes, we'll arrange a reward and send him some gold. Lord Enger of Willowood has inherited High Lordship of Willowood and other titles from Lord John the Unready. He has died of gonorrhea. Okay, so now we have a new Lord of Willowood, Lord Enger of Willowood, and he is a lot better. A hell of a lot better. Decent diplomacy. Very decent diplomacy. And Lady Amira of Oldstone has declared Lady Amira of Oldstone's war for Seagod and Lady Alasane the Rash. So there's a lot of inner conflicts going on around the realm. At present, there's a lot that needs sorting out. We do need a new ambition. Have a daughter fall in love. See the realm prosper for 5 years. I can't see us having peace for 5 years, but we will try it because we need peace. We desperately need to get some peace and let the realm recover because we don't have a lot of manpower. Prince Benfrey. Benfrey, he could be Benfrey the First, which will be interesting. I do want to look into is he actually legitimate? I'm a bit worried in case he's not. But at least we've now got several 7-star princes hanging around the place, which is good. And we can upgrade this holding. It takes 40 years. I don't know if I want to do it or not just yet. I don't know if I want to spend that amount of money, so we'll leave it for now. Who are our advisors? Offa Greyjoy and Pia the Vixen. Do you know what? I'm gonna remove her from the council for now. Sorry, Auntie Pia. But I want to try and get somebody else. Let's go for Harry and Firehand. Get him on the council instead. And Thalas Seagrain has arrived at your court. She should have already been at our court for quite some time, so I'm not sure why she's suddenly appeared now. How is this war going in the Vale? It's Danis the Wise is winning in 24%, and wow, the Muds have got a lot of manpower, so it looks like they are going to usurp that High Lordship. I can't see the Red Wolves managing to pull back in this fight. It's not looking great. Is there anything that we can do intrigue-wise? We could try and hold a feast to try and get people on side. I don't think we can host a tourney or anything like that at present, can we? I don't think it's been long enough just yet. Let's hold a summer fair, why not? Should make the peasants happy. Let's see if we can make the peasantry happy. Try and get them on side at least. Try and make somebody love poor Lister. Does have plenty of friends though, doesn't he? We know we've got plenty of friends, so it's not all bad. It's not all bad. I wonder if we could get away with imprisoning you now. We'd have a 1% chance of it actually working, and we would gain tyranny for doing that. What about you, Maynard Greystock, as you are also plotting against us? Can we try and imprison you? We'd have a 28% chance. So again, not a great chance. Oh, Maynard Greystock's had a son, I've just noticed. Awesome. Theomore Greystock, and he's been born with a quick trait. Awesome. Very interesting. So we've got a decent Greystock to look forward to in the future. So that's the Firehands and Greystocks who have had a son in this episode. When is Lord Greyjoy going to have a son? He's not had a son yet, he's just got 3 daughters. We are going to need to find a match for our son at some point, but not just yet. We've got plenty of time to do that. Lord Harold of Harlaw Hill decided to release Master Tristopher of the Tower of Gimmering from prison. That's fine. Though I thought my friend Lucius Mallister to be a more reasonable man, his request to be allowed to duel his rival Roman Sevenstar is slightly erratic. Lucius claims to be constantly subject to affronts from his rival, and has asked for permission to defend his honour, disallow it and banish them, disallow it, allow the duel. Let's see what happens, why not? Let them have a fight. If they want to fight, have a fight. Whatever his name is, Roman Sevenstar is our rival anyway, so it's not the end of the world, is it? High King Lister of Andalia has inherited the High Lordship of the Mother's Embrace and other titles from Lord Hugo of the Mother's Embrace. Okay. Was thrown out of the moon door on the orders of Lord Danis II of the Giant's Lance, Hugo of the Mother's Embrace, and the Maester has also died of Danis. Danis is getting very scary. He really scares me. We have inherited the Mother's Brace now, though, which is interesting. So we could give that to someone. Who out of our friends could do with a title who hasn't got one? The Mallisters and that have got titles already. The Harlaw, maybe. We could always give it to our brother, maybe. One of our brothers could give it to Engar, or... I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure yet what we'll do with that. We'll keep it for ourselves for now, just so we have got a foothold in the Vale, as Danis does really scare me. And Roman managed to avoid my guardsman and has fled the court. Let him cower in fear. He has tried to imprison him as he was trying to plot to kill us, and he has escaped down to the Reach, our cousin has. And Lord Hugo Highstar died without leaving any blood relatives, as clear heir to the High Lordship of the Mother's Embrace. Therefore, it falls to you to settle this inheritance. The Mother's Embrace shall revert to the king. Lord Hugo's widow shall claim it. Sir Lek Maiden's claim is best. Maiden Rivers is my choice for heir. Who is Maiden Rivers? Okay, no. It should convert back to the crown for now. And, we do have some high stars. And the alliance between Lord Danis and Lord Yorick is broken down, which is interesting. Hilario Snow has arrived back at our court, which is also very interesting. We've had a lot of interesting people now pop up in our court. So I don't know what we'll do with that. We'll probably decide in the next episode. So let's end this one here for now, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, as always. I hope that you've enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and comment down below. And hopefully I'll see you all very soon for the next episode of the Knights of Andalia. Danis sat upon the weirwood throne of the Eyrie, holding court for his vassals, both old and new. The Arryn kings had once sat in this very seat, as well as the dead bastard Benfrey. This peaceful time after his move against Benfrey and the subsequent war had given Danis time to think about legacy. The previous houses who had ruled the area had both had competent rulers who had founded their houses. However, after their deaths, their houses fell apart to incompetent rulers who could not continue their legacy. Danis would ensure this same fate would not befall House Corbury. He had looked to his son and heir and found him unworthy to continue his legacy. Although it pained him to do so, he had asked his son to take the black, not out of spite or malice, but for the future of the house. No father would want this for their child, but Danis would not have his accomplishments and the glorious past of his house squandered after his death by misrule and weakness. His son did not accept his wishes and had raised his banners in rebellion. A rebellion that was quickly defeated. Although he had not inherited Danis' intellect or competence, he had surely inherited his pride. Seeing his son leave to take the black brought him little pleasure, but he kept thinking of the future of his house. Danis had been in the capital for much of his son Marwyn's upbringing, which may have been to blame for his lack of skill in areas not related to command, but this error would not be repeated. He sat now in the strongest castle in the Vale, with the crown unable to act against him. He would look to mould his grandchildren into worthy heirs, all the while planning his next move. He had killed Benfrey and his weak son, which had effectively ended the bastard Highstar line. Danis would not have his line meet the same fate. He had taken the seat of the former kings of the Vale for himself, and soon he would hold dominion over the entire Vale. Once again he would lie in wait for his chance to strike, this time against the crown who held domain over the Vale.